Welcome to my new series called the Projector Power Hour, where we are going to answer the business questions that you are submitting to us and do it live on the spot. I have no idea what is in this phone. I have no idea the questions she's going to ask me. And if you know anything about the way I teach about building a business, it's that I want you to use the parts of you that are already so good, your unique zone of genius, your magic sauce that you bring to the table. And for me, when I really wanted to step into what made me so unique, I dove into my human design, and I am a 2 for Projector and human design. And I have found as I have gotten more seasoned in entrepreneurship that really is my superpower, part of it, to where I can just answer things on the fly. And what makes me such a good coach to be able to help people through their problems is the things that I see that maybe other people can't see. So we thought it would be fun. We have a form for you to submit your questions if you would like me to answer them on our next series. Drop it below in the form that we have in the show notes. And we're going to do this live. We're going to make this a series. Let us know if you like it. And we're going to kick it off. So with me, I have Brandi, who is my director of operations inside of The Wealthy Practitioner, one of my companies. And she has various business questions from various practitioners. And I'm going to tell you what I would do.
Okay, I'm so freaking pumped for you guys to see Steph's magic. So first question we have, what would you do if you had to start your business from scratch again?
If I had to start my clinic from scratch?
Yes, your clinic from scratch.
If I was starting my clinic from scratch, what I would do is, first of all, I recorded a podcast episode. So go watch it here. It's how to grow to $1 million. And exactly the 5 steps I would do. But if I was going to build a model from the ground up, not knowing how our other clinics are structured, I would honestly work 3 days a week in the clinic, taking care of patients, create plans that allowed me to profit 25 to 30K a month, have a very small and mighty team, and operate off of primarily automations and AI, and have maybe 1 or 2 people in clinic helping me, supporting me, gathering content. And I would try and be as streamlined as possible and simple as possible, because I truly think simplicity scales. And there's something to be said about that 3-day work week and kind of shutting your brain off and being really happy with consistent profit margins.
So good. All right, my next question for you is, how much should you make in your business, in your clinic, before you add team?
I think that's a nuanced conversation. So I don't think you have to make a certain amount before you can hire a team. I think you have to know how committed you are to becoming successful. So when we first opened the first practice we had, I had no team until I was doing about 15 to 20K a month, right? I had no team. I was doing it all myself. Once we've opened new businesses, we're not making any money, but we're hiring team right off the bat to help us get them off the ground, because again, we're trying to optimize for time. We're trying to optimize for creating leverage, and you need team in order to do that. However, I knew even, I was at 15, 20K months. So that was like my second, third month in practice. I hired team as soon as possible to just do the things that I didn't want to do. So I think the right question is not how much money do you need to be making? It's how committed are you to becoming successful, and how quickly do you want to grow? Because there's absolutely a way for you to do everything yourself, but that's also going to stagnate your growth if you're involved in every aspect of your business.
Definitely. And so when someone is hiring to add to their company, what is the first role that they should hire for in their clinic?
I definitely think you hire for somebody to handle all the back end admin, automations, processing, scheduling, things like that. There's a lot of AI tools now that obviously you can integrate and have some of that streamlined. You can online book, you can do all these things, but I want somebody to help be the face of the clinic as well. So it's not just relying on me, and the patients have somebody else that they can go to for help.
Why would you choose that role over an associate that can bring in more income for the business?
Because I know I can make more money. I know that I am going to do everything that it's required to grow the company quicker. And so I would aim to hire an associate shortly thereafter, but I'm not going to bring on an associate for them to answer the phone. Like, I want them in high revenue generating activities, and answering the phone isn't one of those.
So good. So in the intro, you talked about your zone of genius. How do people figure out their zone of genius inside of business?
Good question. I think that they have to get super quiet with themselves, which is really hard to do when you're growing a business, but you have to know I think like human design plays a role in it. I think the things that you're naturally good at, if you looked at all aspects of a business, like marketing, sales, client experience, systems, back in delivery, you could look at those and be like, okay, I'm actually really good at marketing. I'm actually good at client delivery because I know how to form rapport. I know how to connect with patients. I'm actually good at helping them get results. You also know what you're good at and you know what you're not good at. And so I would look at all of the things that I'm not good at and try and delegate those and outsource those. I hated back end systems, and that's why I outsourced that pretty immediately. And then it's like, okay, well, what am I good at? If I was really good at marketing and selling and like getting people to understand, and communication is a huge tool when it comes to selling. And so it would be like, how can I spend more time in communicating with others? Because that's where I get the best results. If you don't know what you're good at, you have to try a lot more things. Like, I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm not good at that. It's like, well, how often have you tried? How hard have you tried? How many times have you tried? I think too, not knowing what you're good at is just not knowing yourself. And I actually feel that's a bigger problem than most people realize. They don't know what excites them. They don't know what their vision is. They don't know what they're working towards. They don't know what they don't want. And so if you don't know any of that, like the only person who can answer that is you.
Mm-hmm. So good. Okay, so I want you to think back to graduation you and that version of yourself. What made you realize that you could open a business and be successful?
I don't think that I was guaranteed. I don't think that I like on graduation day was like, I'm gonna open my own business and be successful, because I didn't. I took another job. I knew the pain that I was feeling working for somebody else and going to a job that maybe didn't light my heart on fire. I didn't even know it was because I was working for somebody else, because I actually don't think that's the problem. I think that there's a lot of incredible roles out there where you can thrive working for somebody else. I just was so uncomfortable and not happy in the role that I had. And I wasn't willing to just find another job and be unhappy. And at that point, it had always been a goal to open my own practice. And so that just kind of sped up the timeline, because I was like, I'm not thriving. I don't enjoy this. I don't want to live here. I don't want to work in this practice. And it was like, well, I could just be unhappy, or I could do something about it. And so I did something about it. I went and opened my first practice, and I was terrified. I mean, I didn't know that it was going to work. And my only goal was to not like mess it all up and go broke. My goal was literally just to replace my $60,000 a year salary. Mm-hmm. And so I was pretty convinced. I had done the math of like, okay, I'm making $60,000. My overhead at the time was only like, I think like $3,000. And so I was like, okay, how many people do I have to see? And what do I have to charge in order to just make $60,000 a year? Because I was fine with I didn't have this big vision when I first opened my business. I just wanted to be able to duplicate what I already had, but be way happier doing it.
And sometimes I feel like people think that, oh, to jump, I have to make $1 million.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was optimizing for at all. I was optimizing for, how can I just replace my salary and be happy? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like this huge, like, I think people get this wrong, where they're like, oh, if I'm going to open a business, I have to want to have $1 million practice. No, you don't. You could just want more balance and more harmony in your life, and see patients 3 days a week, and then be a mom or be a dad, or, go travel the world. Like, there's so many reasons to build a business. It's not just to make a crap ton of money.
Mm-hmm. So you said that you were so uncomfortable in the associate role. Could you tell me about the pain points? Because some people listening may be feeling those same things of, should I start my own business?
Yeah. Well, I also want to say, like, you shouldn't, unless you're certain that you have what it takes. I was just talking with a friend this morning, and like, her husband is shutting down his business because he just realizes he doesn't like the mental stress that he feels on the weekends, or he doesn't think that the reward is there for what he's putting in. And I think there's some of us that wake up every day and like, we can't wait to start building. We can't wait to start working. We can't wait to start on something new. Those are the people that should start a business, not the ones that are like, just know yourself. Again, it comes back to knowing yourself. Some should have a business, some should not. There's a lot of organization that it takes to be able to have a business and grow it and have it be profitable. For me, it was like I had no say in the way that things would go in the role. And so I even think of you, like, how often do I ask for your input? I want you to feel like you have a valuable perspective and input into what we're building because I'm going to ask a lot of you. So I want it to also be something you're excited to build.
Yeah.
I want that for all of my team. It's why I asked for team, like, what do you think? What do you want? That was never done for me in my role. And my perspective, when I would bring new revenue generating ideas, they were always shot down because they didn't want to implement them because they didn't have like the systems or the team or whatever to be able to implement them. And also I can understand now as an employer, not every idea is a good idea. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to act on all of them, but I also think that, there was no real room for growth. And like, I don't care if you have your own business or you work for somebody else, if you're an achiever. And if you know that that is what you identify as, you have to be in a role that there's room for growth. And I didn't have any. And so it just felt like I was suffocating.
You were stuck for sure. Okay. So what is the most important skill for someone to master when starting out a business? So thinking, should they be a great marketer, a great salesperson, a great finance person? Because a lot of people
I think it's communication because communication happens in the way that you market and the way that you get your message out there and the way that you attract people to you, the way that you communicate with prospects to get them to come in and then become a client or a patient. And then you have to sell them on your services. So you have to be able to communicate with their pain points are, what they're going through, how this is beneficial for them, how the perfect time is now. And then when it comes to team, you have to be able to like communicate with them to get them to understand your vision, your mission, and then also to be able to do a good job. And so like, I think people are like, oh, should it be marketing or sales? Should it be, should it be systems and should I be good at social media? It's like, you should just be good at communicating because that translates into every aspect of your business.
Yeah, it's not department led.
Yeah.
It's a skill. Just like people go to chiropractic school, you're not successful just because you're a good adjuster.
Totally.
You have to communicate the value of that adjustment and also still be a good adjuster because you definitely are, right? Like, and it also I think too goes into personality too.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're a very bubbly person. So is Kyle. Kyle is very successful businesses and that also helps, right? Like people don't want to come in if you're just like, oh, hardy har.
Yeah. And I think too, that's why like, obviously we help so many practitioners grow and scale. And the ones that are successful, like, and have quicker growth are the ones that can communicate well and have more confidence. And so I think people think confidence comes first and then you take action. It's like, no, you build confidence by taking action. And I wasn't somebody who was super confident as a young entrepreneur. I mean, I wasn't going out and just like putting myself out there. People probably see me now and are like, oh, she had no problem talking to people. Like, I actually was very shy. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to have my face out there. And it's like, because I kept pushing myself, that's how I built the confidence. And so now I could go and tell anybody about any business I have. But I didn't have that in the beginning. I got that by putting myself out there and just trying.
And so you've got the reps in of communicating and sucking at communication to get better at it.
Yep.
So good. Okay. So this happens a lot is that sometimes our clients will say, oh, I hit a record, but then I shrunk back to my baseline. And it's like the success is almost like yo-yo. It's like yo-yo dieting. Why do you think that happens?
I think because it's probably a little different for everybody, but if I was going to generalize, it's because we haven't built the muscles to hold the growth. We haven't transitioned our identity from somebody that can grow a business to be able to hold a successful business. Same thing when it comes to money. Like a lot of people can make money, they can't hold on to it. And I think also it's some people just have a pattern of self-sabotage and they're avoiding the inner work to rewire that pattern that will allow them to grow and sustain it and continue to grow and build true momentum. And then they avoid the inner work at all costs because it's the hardest work to do.
And so the first step would be to do the inner work, would you say?
I would say the first step would be to like truthfully audit yourself in your life and say like, where am I not holding the standard for my own life? Where am I committing to things and then not following through? Where am I saying that I'm going to do something and then pivoting and changing my mind? Where am I giving up before I actually get to the hard part? So for me, this is crazy, but I've never grown a business, like either my office that I've been in charge of or this company, where I've grown and then stepped back ever. Like I've never like hit 100K month and then went back to 50K.
Yeah.
I've never hit 300K and then went back to 100K.
Yeah.
And I think this is just, I'm realizing this now. It's because I've done so much inner work. So I'm not scared of the growth. Because I think that's also what happens is people hit a number and they're scared of it. Like by the time I hit a number, I've already done all the work to be able to get to that number and then grow past it. And when I hit a number that's big and it feels stretchy and it feels like there's a lot going on, I always recalibrate there. So maybe I would do 100K, 105. 99, like maybe I would have consecutive months like that, but I don't try and push past what feels sustainable. And I think maybe that's a superpower in business because I'm not chasing arbitrary numbers. I'm not chasing metrics. Like I'm chasing sustainability and for it to feel easy. I want business to feel easier than it currently does or that it has in the past, And so, I don't have self-sabotaging tendencies though. I do what I say I'm going to do. I show up, I try my best. And when something triggers me or activates me, I go inward and figure out why. And so I work on that actively. Like, oh, why am I getting triggered by this? It's like I work on it so that I can move past it and get to the next level.
And so when you're telling me about these examples and what people could do to inner work, I'm like, okay, but are they going to feel shame, right? How do they work through those questions of where did you not show up and how did you not be your best self without the shame so they can move past it?
Well, I think we need reflection. And so the first step is to admitting where you've dropped the ball. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just try next time because they miss their goal, but they don't actually want to take self-accountability or responsibility. That is like, it's your fault you missed your goal. So let's start there. Let's start with radical responsibilities to why you're not where you want to be. And then when we dive into that and you could say, okay, maybe I'm not keeping my commitments to myself. Maybe I'm not tracking my money. Maybe I'm not hiring the best people because I want the cheapest people and not the best people. Maybe I'm committing to events where I can get in the room and meet people and then I'm not showing up or I'm not going to that networking event. Getting radically honest about where you're not playing full out is the first step. If you choose to stay in that feeling of I didn't do a good job, then naturally shame is going to come up. Worthiness is going to come up. But I look at times when I like drop the ball and it's just data to me. It doesn't mean I suck just because I tried something and it sucked, Yeah. And so I've really detached my self-worth from how the business performs, or how I've done things. Like I think about even,
well, you can't even say how the business performs because business performs fantastic. So your self-worth should be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's things obviously that don't go right in business for sure.
Yeah, outside of, I'm just thinking revenue.
Yeah,
right?
revenue. But I think, like, okay, perfect example, like, when I get really frustrated with my team and sometimes show I think of a few weeks ago when I called you and I was losing my mind, not at you, but to you about a situation. And afterwards I was like, yes, she's my number 2. And I talk to her about a lot of things. But I still have to remind myself that I'm the leader in that situation. I still have to realize, like, when I say things to you, you're still part of my team. And so I have to regulate those emotions a little bit better. And so even like reflecting back on that, was I the best leader in that moment? No. But instead of like shaming myself and feeling bad about myself, I was like, okay. So clearly I have some more work to do around communication when things are going wrong. Clearly I still have different and new team and like other roles to fill within this company so that things aren't getting dropped, And so it was a reflection back to me of like, hey, here's where you need to improve your leadership. I didn't feel bad about it. It's like, I'm a human. I'm having a human reaction. So it's like, I guess it might be different if you're committing to things and not doing them, but I don't do that because I'm not willing to negotiate with myself or to negotiate with my goals. But there's of course times where I'm not my best self, right? There's times where I like get triggered by something, or there's times where like I slip back into an old identity, or there's times where it's like, I know better, but I'm just going to fly off the handle because this thing didn't go right. And it's like, I know better. That shouldn't dysregulate me. But again, I'm a human. And so instead of feeling poorly about myself for that. It was just like, oh, okay, you still have some work to do here. You should lean into that.
So essentially you look at the situation, you detach the emotion in a sense, and you're just like, what's the data here?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit in the sock.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, where's the issue? And then move forward.
Yeah.
And have a plan.
Yep.
Of forward. Don't sit in the
Action.
sock. Action.
Every time.
Okay. So, we have this hierarchy. We have a triangle. We love triangles.
We do love triangles.
And so if someone wants to go from a practitioner to a CEO, what is the first step that they need to take?
So they probably don't even know what we're talking about when it comes to that, but it's an identity shift. If you are a practitioner, your identity is to practice on people. Your identity is to help people and heal people. When you're a CEO, your identity is how to lead people, how to build a profitable business, how to take control of the vision of your company and make it come to fruition. And so both of those roles optimize for different things. And so a practitioner is optimizing for client results. A practitioner is optimizing for more certifications. A practitioner is optimizing for things that getting better at their craft, you know? A CEO is not really optimizing for those things. I think you can be both. So I don't think you have to choose one or the other. But what I often find is people spend 90% of their time focusing on becoming a better practitioner and 10% focusing on becoming a better CEO, and then wonder why their practice doesn't make more money. It's like, well, you're not stepping into the identity of a CEO. You're not looking at it through a business lens. You're not looking at your numbers. You're not looking at what the data is telling you. So of course you're not making more money. You're not spending any time through that lens. What needs to happen is more of like a 50-50 relationship, because also I think the practitioner side, you just naturally get better with the more people that you help. And so some of it is a hands-on experience. You don't need more certifications. You don't need time researching and studying, but a lot of people love that aspect. And I think that's great. I used to love that aspect too when I was in practice. But there's a direct correlation in my business when I was able to get more balance and start thinking more like a CEO, that the business started to grow alongside me.
Mm-hmm. And I would say it filters over in every single aspect. It's like, even when you started the coaching business, you didn't have to learn how to run a coaching company. It was just how to run a business at the end of the day, and those skills translated. Okay. So we have this situation come up often where clients will come to us and they'll say, oh, Steph, I want a team like yours. All my team does is tattletale on each other. They're so low vibe. How do I get a team like yours? What's the problem? How do I fix this? How do you go about coaching them through this situation?
I think your team is as good as their leader, truthfully.
Period. Cut.
I think your team is as good as the leader that's leading them. And it's easier to be like, oh, I just need a new team. I think it's easier to be like, oh, this person sucks. It's easier to be like, oh, this person's not bought into the mission. In reality, it's like, who's leading them? Because that's the pace and the pulse and the culture that they're matching. And also, I do think most people would get better team if they paid more money. I think people are expecting A players and paying them $20 an hour and wondering why they're not getting that. Sometimes you get lucky. I actually just found a notebook the other day. This was from years and years and years and years ago. And this tells you like how much the economy has changed. But I hired my first amazing CA for $14.25 an hour. And that was more than what she wanted. I offered her more than what she wanted.
That's insane.
And I looked back and I was like,
10 years.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
One, you can't even get a CA for like less than like $22 now an hour. But I just think back to like, she grew very quickly. I increased her pay very quickly. But a lot of times you have to claim the standard that you want for your team and invite them to meet that standard, and hire based on that standard, train your people based on that standard. And when somebody's not meeting that standard, you have to have a direct conversation. I mean, it's no joke. We talk about this on the podcast. We're talking about it in content, like everywhere. Like, I truly believe directness is kindness. Because nobody has to wonder in my life where they stand with me, you know, because I tell you. Or if I'm like happy with something, I tell you. If I'm not happy with something, I tell you. that's how I communicate with my team. But also that has given you guys a permission slip to communicate the same way with me. You know, there's been times where you're like, no, that's not going to work. No, I don't like that. No, I don't want to do that. It's not like you just say yes to me all the time. And same thing with the coaches. It's like, hey, I don't actually think that's going to work. Or I think we should try this instead. I want that direct communication because it allows us to all get on the same page. It also allows us to accomplish more together. And so I think there's a lot of things that could be done to create a better team, but the easiest and thing that creates the biggest change is for you just to become a better leader.
100%. That's so good. And I think hiring the right team and not like having a scarcity mindset, because it's like you also care about the opinion of those on the team because you respect them. And it's like, that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. So I want you to tell me about how did you make your first, when you were in business, how long did it take you to make $10,000 in 1 month?
I'm pretty sure it was like, I was going to say 45 days, but so it would have been my second month in practice.
And how did you do that?
Truthfully, I just talked to a lot of people. I provided a really incredible service. People told their friends and family about me.
Would you go door knock? How did they hear about you?
I mean, I did door knock, but the truth is that I chickened out and made Kyle door knock. And so,
well, guys, this is how you made the money. This is now making
listen,
sense.
This is why a supportive partner is really, really important when you're growing. But I think I just didn't think it was going to be hard. So it ended up not being hard.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be hard to get to 10K. That was kind of like, I was going to have to do that. And so I naturally did. And also I did go and meet people. I just wanted to meet people. I wanted everybody to figure out who I was. I was the new kid on the block. There was lots of other practices with way more experience than mine. And I was like, who can I meet that has somebody that I can help, that they'll tell about me? And I very much wanted to win those people over, like those power partners that we talk about, those strategic partners. Like I wanted to win them over. I was like, I might be the newest, but I'm the funnest and I'm the most normal. And I
heavy on the most normal.
You know, I know how to have a conversation and I'm here to help you and like take care of you. And I also want to support you. It was like, I didn't make it about me. I think so often we get in our own heads, we make everything about us. You will get way more success in life in general when you try to help other people instead of help yourself. And I kind of have always had that attitude, not only from like a giving, benevolent attitude, but like I knew even when I was starting the coaching company, like if I could just help these 10 clients, they're going to tell their friends. I was obsessed with helping them and getting them results.
Yeah.
I was the same way in practice. If I could just help these 10 people, they're going to tell their friends. You know, it's like, business is not harder than that.
No, it's simple. Take care of people and they will take care of you.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said about you just wanting to be the best and meet the people and help them, because that brings me back to conversations in the beginning when I joined you, is that everyone like wanted to be this weird doctor and think that they had to help everyone. It's like, no, just ask them how their day is. Ask them about their life, because that's going to make them want to be with you and want to be serviced by you, whatever care that you provide. Because it's like, they're going to feel a good adjustment, right? I love when you give me an adjustment. But I also come back when I'm like, oh, you've been there with me since my child was born, right? You've seen my kid overcome colic. It's like checking in with them and being normal. And it's like, and so I think social media also is a whole different world. It's like,
yeah, social media should be just a retention play. It's not even a new acquisition play. It should be a retention play. Same thing with your emails, same thing with your newsletters. Like everything that you're doing through a marketing lens, people focus so much on acquisition, but it's really a retention play too.
So you always say, like you just said, making $10,000, it could be easy. How do you rewire your brain to believe that making money is easy? Because I think so many of our community thinks it's so hard.
Well, I very much believe whatever you think you're going to manifest. And so I just have trained myself to think the exact outcome that I want. It doesn't mean that I don't have moments of doubt. It doesn't mean that there hasn't been periods of my life where making money was harder than others. I just have always been willing to do what it takes to make money. So like, you know, even going through college, like I put myself through college, I was waitressing around the clock, like 4 days a week, going to Cairo school, you know, because I had the belief that like making money was easy. All I had to do was go wait on tables and I made like $100. It was amazing. It was easy.
But people would think that was hard because it's manual labor.
Yeah, no, but it was so easy. Like all you got to do is provide a service and people will pay you.
Yeah.
And so I had the belief it was easy even back then. And now it's just been like, again, if you think it's hard, it's going to be harder. You're going to face more challenges. But if you're just like, hey, I can let this be easy and fun, because again, making money is not supposed to be like a death sentence. It's supposed to be a ton of fun. You're supposed to have fun in your business. You're supposed to have fun meeting new people. You're supposed to have fun helping people. I don't know. I've always did things where I served or helped others. And so it was like, I had this belief, if I do a good job, I'm going to be compensated for that. If I create value for the world, I'm going to be compensated for that. And now I would say that belief has served me over the last 10 years, because now I create a ton of value and I'm highly compensated.
Yeah.
And it's a direct correlation, you know? And so that's why I probably have never felt it was hard, because I've always been in the business of helping people.
You have the purest heart of that. And it's interesting about building value. It's like, you're not just doing something, like you're actually building wealth for these people, right? Like the patients that you saw, right? You're building body wealth for them so that their body continues on to serve them. And then all of our clients, you're building generational wealth. And it's like the wealthiest people get wealthy because
they've helped so many people.
Yeah, and provided value at the end of the day, right? You can interact with so many people and that be one thing, but providing actual value is a whole different ballgame.
For sure.
Okay, my last question for you, because I had a ton, is how does someone become the ROI, the return on investment, instead of waiting for someone or something on the outside to prove it to themselves?
I think it's just a belief. Your beliefs create your behaviors, which create your reality. I've said that like so many times this week on a coaching call. It's becoming a theme. But your beliefs about yourself is going to dictate your behavior. So if I have a belief that I am the ROI, I'm the best return, I'm the best investment that I could make, that's into my health, that's into my brain, that's into my environment, that's in the things I'm putting in my body. Like if I have a belief that I'm the ROI, then my behaviors are going to dictate that. I'm going to make sure I follow through on things. Like if I invest in a program, I'm going to make sure I consume that program so that I can pull out the golden nuggets. They're going to take me to the next level. If I have a belief that I'm the ROI and I want an elevated environment around me so that I can do better work, then I invest into things that prove that. My behaviors back that up because it's my belief. And so, first of all, it's just deciding that you're worth it. I think that's the number one mistake for a lot of practitioners, a lot of entrepreneurs. They don't think they're worth the investment. So I believe I'm worth it, so I'm going to invest in myself every single day. That wasn't always the case, though. When I was more scarcity driven or I was just starting out, it's like, I did have worthiness issues and I had to really work on that in order to build up this belief and to solidify the belief. Because I always knew, like, I've never let myself down drastically. I think I probably have an advantage over most people, but I've never let myself down. Everything that I said that I would do, I've done. Because I don't fucking stop until it's done. That's the thing, though. It's like when you let yourself down, it's because you give up.
Yeah.
That's why I have BDQ, because like I just have never stopped. So there's nothing that I've actually truly ever wanted that was aligned with my soul that I did not accomplish because I don't quit. So how can I fail if I don't quit? And so again, that self-worth that I built was because I just kept trying. I kept trying. And then I would go internal and be like, okay, why do I feel this way? And then I would overcome that. And it was like, okay, but look at how good it is when I pour into myself. Look at how much better I feel when I read a book. Like, again, it doesn't have to be these big, crazy things, but like reading books is something I still do in present time. Listening to podcasts, you know, of course, like I'm committed to my development. And so I feel so good when I start a book and I finish a book.
Yeah.
Because it's the commitment to myself. I'm learning something. I feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm becoming a better version of myself. Then it backs up that belief, that behavior backs up the belief that I am the ROI. And then my reality proves it to me. Yes, that was so good. Oh, remember that thing that you read in that book and then you were able to teach your clients about it? Or remember that podcast you listened to about health and then now you're able to help the mom that has a kids with pandas, you know, like it's all connected. And so I just have the belief. And so my behaviors back up that belief.
So show up and follow through.
Yeah. And ask yourself, what are my beliefs?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you don't have that belief because you're not taking any action towards that. Again, the action is what creates the confidence. And so because I have a belief I'm the ROI, I invest in myself heavily. I mean, this year alone, I've spent almost $500,000
Yeah.
investing in myself, you know, and that doesn't even include studio and team. That actually includes like mentors, coaches, programs. And so it's like, I have the belief I'm the ROI, so my behaviors are naturally matching that.
And when I know I said that last one was the last question, but this brought up another question. This always happens. When you invest in mentors and, in the beginning, maybe you were like, I got to get everything. I got to consume everything. What is your philosophy in the people that you're investing in to help you and mentor you?
Well, one, my success is not determined by the mentor. My success is determined by how I show up. So like, if I get one thing, I also always trust. I very much like my intuition's not going to guide me somewhere and get me to invest if I know that I can't get something in return. And so like, I always trust that whatever it is, I'm going to get exactly what I need for that season of my life. If I felt called to invest in them, there's a reason I should listen to that.
Yeah.
So I never really, I don't really talk myself out of investments like that. Never, even when I was, broke, truthfully. But then it's also like every single mentor I've invested in, I've gotten exactly what I've needed because I'm the one who has scanned the content, scanned the mentorship, scanned the call, whatever, and been like, oh, that's the nugget I need to run with. That's the nugget that's most applicable to me. And so then I go and implement it.
Yeah. It's not a all you can eat buffet.
No.
You don't have the all you can eat buffet.
I'm like, I need one or two things and I'm going to know when it comes up and it's like, oh, that's the golden ticket. That's what I need to go do in my business right now. And then I go and implement, and then naturally there's a revenue ROI on the backside too. You know, I think of even just like the fact that I'm working with Ed Milet, you know, he's not sitting there babying me.
No.
He's not sitting there being like, hey, Steph, did you do the work? Hey, Steph, did you implement what we talked about last week? Like, could you imagine if Ed Milet was doing that to me? Absolutely not. He's sitting there and he's like on my case about not pumping out enough content. And I pumped out more content than I've ever pumped out in my life. Ever in my life. I have a content studio, for crying out loud. He's on my case. It's not enough. I thought I told you I have a full-time videographer. I'm like, well, I got about 3 different ones right now. He's like, it's not enough then. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so again, however long I work with him, I'm always going to remember the importance of content. And also another thing that he like had said to me when we first started working together was, in order to grow past where I'm currently at, I have to make sure I know why I'm doing it. And I think in this season, I've been really challenged with that. And so I would say to you, like, if you aren't growing, know the purpose for growing. I've always grown because I've always been connected to that purpose. However, there are going to be new levels that you go to that require something different of you. And you just have to be honest with yourself if you're willing to do what's required. And I think I've been really stretched in this season because of that. I'm connected to my purpose, but I am being transparently honest with myself. Like, I don't know if I want to sacrifice more time. And is it even going to require a sacrifice, or is that just a limiting belief in my head?
And then the story.
And the story in my head, because that's what I hear everywhere, you know? And even though I've protected my own environment and my own head and my little bubble of abundance, I'm going to a new level.
So there's going to be cracks.
There's going to be cracks. And it's like, oh, I think that's a limiting belief. Well, let's see. Well, right now it does feel like in order to do more, I have to sacrifice. So I just need to figure out better systems.
Yeah.
I need more support. I shouldn't have to sacrifice anything, but I need to stop doing so many things in order to not have to sacrifice more time, right? So again, it could have been easy to be like, oh, I have to sacrifice too much. I'm not going to push to the next level. And it's like, that's not true. I just need to get more things off my plate so my time's still protected. So I'm not sacrificing time in the evenings with my family.
Yeah. So good. And I feel like the biggest thing that I took away from that is like, with the calls with Ed and just investing in yourself is like, you're coming prepared. You're coming, let me get what one thing I need out of it. You're not coming to it not even prepared of like, oh, I wonder what Ed has for me today. It's like, no, you have questions ready for Ed, and same thing for Amanda. You have questions ready. What do you actually need to move the needle forward, rather than, again, this whole all you can eat buffet? We don't want that. We want the prime rib. We want the New York strip.
Yeah.
That one little nugget.
Yeah, for sure. And having but I have clarity on where I'm going. I have clarity on my vision. I know exactly what I want to accomplish. So it's very easy when I'm getting mentored to be like, oh, that's going to help me. I should do that. That was a golden nugget. Oh my God, they blew my brain with that. Like, you know, there's a couple things Amanda has said to me that I'm just like, oh my God, that was so good. Like, because she's already been where I've been.
Yeah. The whole, like, it can be easier.
Yeah.
I think about that. And that's where it's like your mentorship and who you invest in.
And then I'm bringing it back to the team.
Because then I'm like, okay, let me just breathe.
Yeah.
It can be easy. It can be easy. And then it's like the priming. So it's like one investment into yourself if you allow, it can ripple
10x,
effect.
10x feel to everybody, not only the clients I serve, to my husband, obviously I share with him, to my team, like it can 10x. It's worth it every time.
But it's on you to make the ROI and to be the ROI.
Yeah.
And to
And then
take
share
radical
it.
responsibility.
And then share it.
Yeah.
So good.
So
fun.
good.
If you guys like this, let us know. I think it's going to be a fun series for us to do. Click the link below so that you can submit your question for the next one.
Bye.